Now, to guide this presentation, I've chosen 3 words that I think will be most relevant. Now, these are code, creativity, and commerce. So you might think, why these 3 words? How are they relevant, right? Firstly, I believe that these words not only embody the qualities of the modern day employee, but they represent the future of work, right? And this, I mean that in the next few years, I think that it will be increasingly important for anyone who is going to be in the job market to possess at least 2 skills in these said areas. And additionally, these 3 words, they encapsulate the essence of how AI integrates into the business world. Talking about the technology that drives the innovation, to the creative solutions that enable it, as well as the market trends that it drives through what they've been doing e-commerce, right? If we take a step back and take a look at how business was being done prior to the rapid advancements of technology, a lot of organizations depended on cross-functional departments in order for them to complete a project. Now, more often than not, these projects were not only time-consuming, but they were costly, and they required quite a lot of specific requirements. However, with the introduction of AI, the landscape has changed significantly, right? So with organizations like Microsoft and Deloitte, where they are using AI to collect performance reviews that will basically help them monitor their staff development with hopes of basically trying to reduce their employee retention costs, right? So if we take a look at closer to home, one project that I was doing for my master's project, the Warehouse Group, organizations like the Warehouse Group and Woolworths have also started looking into incorporating AI into departments like their human resources departments as a way of possibly streamlining their recruitment services and initially making their everyday administrative tasks more efficient. Now, speaking from experience, as a recent Masters of Business graduate working in consultancy, I found that most of the projects that I work on need additional support, whether it is in the coding aspect or whether it's just creativity. So this would probably result in something like having to hire an extra pair of hands for me to meet the deadlines or to meet the client's demands, right? Now, in such situations, I find it really helpful having AI tools that basically help me to boost my creativity and my productivity. And I found it really invaluable. And it has made a real difference in the way that I not only conduct myself, but the way that I, do business with my clients. Now, on the slides besides me, some of the projects that I've worked on over the years, some with assistance of AI, and some I've used the traditional methods, especially my film and animation projects. The KPI dashboard at the top over there is one of my most recent projects, as I am a BI developer. I only use AI mainly to, if it's not brainstorming designs, it's maybe doing calculations that are pretty tedious or writing patches of code that would otherwise have taken me 20 minutes or more, right? So my rule of thumb when it comes to using AI is very simple, right? If I'm using AI, I maintain human oversight at all times. 80-20, right? 80% my work, 20% AI, right? I might only use AI for brainstorming, proofreading, to make sure that I'm doing things grammatically correct, or even in the development stages, like I said, when I'm using AI just to write patches of code that would otherwise take me quite a bit of time. Now, what I found using AI this way does is it helps me to maintain a unique voice as well as keep my creativity shining through any part of my work, right? One of the main question that will remain, I guess, would be that how then do we implement AI effectively? I came up with 3 steps over here that are very simple, but I think they will be the first steps or the right steps to implementing AI effectively. So the first step, or something that I would want to say that I usually use, is rubbish in, rubbish out. By that, I mean that an AI algorithm is only as good as the information that you give it, right? So if you want it to provide you with data that is reliable, you need to first feed it information that is structured, that is clean and reliable in itself, right? It's just the same thing with ChatGPT. If you go onto ChatGPT and you write a short prompt and you say, write me an essay on whatever the case is, it will write you an essay. And it will probably write you an achieved essay. But the more you actually give it detail and the more you give it a role to say that I want you to act as if you were a lecturer in the who was born in the Shakespearean times, and I want you to create a play of such and such and such and such, and you give it parameters in it to think, it will actually think in that way, right? Like, so this is what I'm talking about. You give it rubbish, it will give out rubbish. You give it gold, it will give you gold, right? And the second part, I would say that, and this is mainly to schools, management and so forth, invest in your people, right? So giving your staff the right skills and the right knowledge, to use AI can maximize its benefit. While learning AI from YouTube and so forth is good, like formal education in anything is the best way to do it, right? And the last point that I would like to add, which is probably the most important one, is AI should be used as an assistant, as a tool, and not a replacement for human creativity or human intelligence. I don't think that at any given time AI will be able to replace human judgment, creativity, or even oversight. So we need to maintain and keep that at the center always. And with this, I end my presentation. Thank you. Yeah.